Celebrities are dying, okay? Fame and influence, as we've known it, status is dying. This is because of Pluto's recent shift. I've been wanting to talk about this for months, so let's get into it. I'll be going deeper into this into my membership. When I researched this and started looking into it, I was like, this is way too much information for a TikTok video. We're gonna start with Aquarius's sister sign, Leo. This is when we really started to see celebrities becoming a thing. Movies were getting really big. There were starting to be people that were known to the majority of the collective. Like Marilyn Monroe became famous during this time. Leo really rules celebrities and fame. This categorized a huge characteristic of the boomers in general. And honestly created this separation of like people who were known, people who were famous, and people who were average and not. Remember that, because I'm going to circle back around to it when we get to Pluto and Aquarius, which we're in now. Then we had Pluto move into Virgo, which was there for about 8 years of the boomer generation. These are the boomers that we know of as being really hypercritical and judgmental, because this categorized that time period. This was also when people were really focused on refining society, right? The civil rights movement, the hippie movement. Virgo is all about refinement and making things better. Then we had Pluto move into Libra, which categorizes most of the Gen X generation. I've said this before in my Pluto playlist and other videos I've done on Pluto and Libra, but Pluto and Libra, at least the people born during this time period, really revolutionized relationships. When this generation was aging into their 20s and 30s is when divorce really started to be mainstream and accepted widely. Whereas before, divorce was taboo, unheard of, something you didn't do or didn't talk about if you did do. It's really the Gen Xers that pioneered this shift for us. And relationships were at the forefront while Pluto was in Libra as well. You know, the free love movement, all of that. The 70s are notorious for being all about partying and love, and this is just very Pluto and Libra. Making great music, a lot of great books were written then, Libra things. Then in 84, we had Pluto move into Scorpio. Things got a little darker. Things suddenly became all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Very, very Scorpio energy. Vastly different from the lighthearted, love, playful fun of the 70s. Shit got real. This is also why I believe that we started to see so much grunge in the late 80s and the early 90s that continued into most of the 90s before Pluto moved into Sagittarius in 96. Pluto does move back and forth between signs for a few years every time it makes a big transition. I gotta say that as well, because I know some of y'all are gonna be like, I was born in 1982 and I have Pluto and Scorpio. What? Well, yes, it's possible. This is simplified. So then in 96, we had Pluto move into Sagittarius, and this was when the collective valued education, knowledge, learning. I also feel like this catalyzed a more glamorous lifestyle that laid a little bit of a foundation for us when Pluto moved into Capricorn, because Capricorn is all about status, how things look, dressing nice, having nice cars, having a big home to show off. And Sagittarius also loves those things. So we went from this grudge, dark kind of era into like, we suddenly care how we look again. And that really categorized all of the early 2000s. If you watch movies from the early 2000s, it's very like Sagittarius energy. People started to dress more scandalously, is that a word? Than they had before this time period. So then we get into Pluto and Capricorn. People started dressing a little bit more classy. But this is really when we started to see an influx of the influencer culture. It started with the Kardashians, Paris Hilton, flaunting your wealth through your material possessions and the status that that has given you. This is why celebrity culture is dying. We are moving out of that era and we are moving into the Pluto and Aquarius era, which is all about the interconnectedness of everyone. People getting big in the collective based on what they bring to the table, what information they provide. Aquarius is an air sign. It wants to know all the different facets of life, and it also wants to use that information and knowledge to serve humanity as a whole. We are going to see nonprofit organizations thriving. We are going to see service and heart-based businesses thriving. People that are actually contributing something valuable with knowledge to the collective versus like, oh, buy this lip kit, it'll make you look good kind of thing. We are also going to see a big transfer of wealth because Pluto and Capricorn was kind of like, okay, how can we get wealthier as wealthy people already based on flaunting our lifestyle of status and wealth, and then create a whole business where our product is based on looking a certain way because we look this way, and we make you think that you can look this way if you buy our product. You know, the Kardashians, that's what I'm speaking to. Let's just call it what it is. It's dying because people want value, people want knowledge, people want information that's going to benefit their lives, not just provide vanity. That's not actually what contributes to happiness. What contributes to happiness is feeling like you're living your purpose and you're living in a community where you feel like you belong with people. That is what is evolving with Pluto and Aquarius. Remember how I said Pluto and Leo, opposite of Pluto and Aquarius, was all about, oh my God, these famous people, they're so different from me. I'm so average. I could never be like them, blah, 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 putting people on a pedestal because of their fame. Pluto in Aquarius is bringing people down to your level because of their fame, and seeing yourself in them and being like, oh, if they could do that, then I can do that too. Again, interconnectedness of all. I cannot believe this video was so long. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What is your Pluto placement? Let's talk about it.